Strasbourg, France, July 1518. A woman named Frau Trophea steps into the street and starts to dance. No music is playing. Nobody asked her to. She doesn't stop. Not that hour, not that night. By the sixth day, she has danced for nearly a week straight. Her feet are bleeding through her shoes, and she still won't stop. This is not a story about a woman who loved to dance. This is the opening of one of the strangest medical mysteries in European history. Within a week, something impossible happens. Other people start dancing too, not with her. Not because of her music, since there is none. They simply start, the same way she did, and don't stop either. By the end of July, city records count 34 dancers. None of them know each other. None of them can explain why they're doing it. Physicians were brought in to examine them, and their diagnosis is where this story turns genuinely bizarre. The doctors decided the dancers had hot blood. Their official medical advice: let them dance it out. So the city council did something almost unbelievable. They built a wooden stage in the middle of the city. They hired professional musicians to keep the rhythm going. They even paid strongmen to hold up dancers too exhausted to stand. The plan was to cure the illness with more of the illness. It did not work. It made everything worse. Watching the dancers seemed to spread the compulsion further. More people entered the square. More people started dancing. By August, contemporary accounts describe up to 400 people dancing in the streets of Strasbourg, day after day, with no rest. Physicians of the time recorded dancers collapsing from exhaustion. Some, according to the records, collapsed and never got back up. Some reportedly died of heat and exhaustion, still moving until their bodies simply gave out. An entire city watched people dance themselves to death and had no idea why. Eventually, the city abandoned the dance it out theory entirely. They banned public music. They banned dancing itself. The afflicted were loaded onto carts and taken outside the city, to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, the patron saint associated in folklore with a dancing curse. There, priests performed rituals to lift what they believed was a curse. And, according to the records, the dancing finally stopped. By September 1518, the mania had ended as mysteriously as it began. For centuries, nobody could explain what actually happened. Theories ranged from mass poisoning to religious hysteria to outright myth. Then, in the 2000s, historian John Waller spent years digging through the original city records, physician notes, church documents, city council minutes, and he ruled out the most popular modern theory first. Some assumed the dancers had eaten ergot, a toxic mold that grows on damp rye. Ergot poisoning is real, and it does cause convulsions, but it also restricts blood flow so severely it causes gangrene, hallucinations, and violent, uncontrolled spasms. Not coordinated, rhythmic dancing sustained for days at a time, the physical symptoms simply didn't match. So Waller looked elsewhere, and what he found fit disturbingly well. 1518 was a catastrophic year for Strasbourg. Famine had gripped the region for years. Disease was widespread. Malnutrition was common. Despair was everywhere. And layered on top of all of it was something just as powerful: belief. The people of Strasbourg genuinely believed in Saint Vitus's curse, a punishment that could force its victims to dance against their will. Waller's conclusion was that this wasn't poison and it wasn't performance. It was what modern medicine calls mass psychogenic illness, a real physical response triggered not by any toxin, but by extreme stress combined with a shared cultural belief. Under the right conditions, the mind is capable of overriding the body entirely without the person consciously choosing anything at all. The dancers weren't faking. They weren't cursed. Their bodies were carrying out something their minds could not consciously stop. Here's the part that should unsettle you more than the history itself. Mass psychogenic illness didn't end in the 1500s. It still happens today, documented in modern medical literature. Fainting epidemics have swept through schools with no environmental cause ever found. In recent years, researchers have documented sudden, unexplained tic-like symptoms spreading among teenagers, largely through shared social media exposure. Different symptoms, different century, same underlying mechanism. Extreme collective stress plus a shared belief in what's happening can still make the body do things the conscious mind never agreed to. Strasbourg's dancers thought they were cursed. We would call it something else today. But the mechanism Waller uncovered hasn't gone anywhere. It's still sitting inside every one of us, waiting for the right conditions.